Hey, this is Derrick King. You listen to Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what you're listening to. You clicked on it. You saw what it said. Live and in Color with Wolfie D. And my man Jimmy across the street. What's going on?
Not much, brother. Been doing my thing over here at the podcasting headquarters of James Rock Street.
Productions, by God.
Yeah, James Rock Street Productions. I sometimes forget there's a real world out there, you know.
Remember I started out last week telling you I was pissed off and I went on that rant.
Yeah, we got a lot of messages about that, actually. But anyway.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did.
Would you like to share that, or is that something we should do off air?
No, it was just something simple. Like, people would ask, who's Wolfie hot at? And I'm like, it's some YouTube goofs, not even worth mentioning their name. And everybody was general consensus, like, if Wolfie doesn't like them, we don't like them, you know? So I'm with that.
But today we have a friend of mine, Derrick King, coming on. And Derrick, I'm sure we'll get into this, man. Derrick, you know, grew up a Memphis fan. He watched PG-13, and I think gave him a little hope, you know, as us being real small at the beginning and everything. Two small guys gave him some hope to get in the ring. And Derrick has just turned out to be one hell of a worker. And he's a funny fucker too, man. And we'll get into that. I'm sure we will laugh another episode through.
Yeah.
We've had some good ones. We're turning into a comedy show almost.
I love it. Yeah. You know, I'm excited for Derrick. Derrick's been well known as one of the better wrestlers on the independent scene for several years, especially in the Middle Tennessee, Memphis area. You know, I will say this. I've met him a couple times. Always a really cool guy. Definitely, I've never heard people say a bad word about the dude. And honestly, you know, just as far as I know, one of the most talented guys in the entire Tennessee wrestling scene for many, many years. So it's nice to see him and be able to talk to him and get him on the show for sure. So.
Absolutely, man. Well, if you're down, I'm down. Let's take a break and let's holler at old DK.
All right, sounds good. We'll be right back after these messages.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at Marines.com.
Hey folks, to get your official Live and in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys, we are back. And as promised, I got my boy Derrick King on the line. What is going on, DK?
What is going on, Sir Wolfie D?
Sir Wolfie D, coming in here in those feline shoes.
Big move up in there.
Me and Derrick always have this running joke of, and we're not making fun of Corey because, you know, rest in peace, Corey Macklin, but we always do imitations of Corey when we see each other, and that's usually the one because that was like the first line in our first match. I think it was Dave Brown was with him. I tell you, Dave, these guys coming in here in those feedlot tennis shoes.
These guys, where are they coming from? Busting people upside the head?
Pick him up, caps. Steps up over and down on him. No, he didn't know the name of no move. He just flipped up over and down on him. I tell you, Lance.
And somebody sold it, so there you go.
It's awesome.
That's it. So what's been going on with you, Derrick King?
Man, just same old, still wrestling every time I get a chance, unfortunately, I'd say. Working and wrestling, raising my son, living here in Horn Lake, Mississippi, not far, just across the interstate, across the state line from Memphis.
Yeah.
That's about it. Trying to stay busy, getting older every single day.
You know, you and I have had some crazy escapades in the past, and I was thinking of one of them, that the time that we got snowed in. We came down. It was what was that? Ashland City, Tennessee, I think it was. And it was supposed to be like a 3-day little tour for Acadian wrestling that was going on around Nashville. And then a big snowstorm. We got the first night off, but a snowstorm came and we got snowed in. And Jimmy, the only damn thing that was open that we could walk to, swear to God, was a liquor store. So,
and I'm sure we found it.
yeah. Fucking having Wolfie D and Derrick King snowed in with no place but a liquor store open is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And that was one of the only places that was open during the pandemic. They stay open, y'all. There's nothing wrong, you know. So
at least if you got to be locked up, they'll let you get fucked up, I reckon. Huh?
well, I will say that's the reason I never got COVID during the whole pandemic.
Yeah, there you go. Knock on wood, right?
You were completely sterile on the inside.
He was like, man, we can't give him nothing. He's great. He's in perfect condition.
Go ahead, Jimmy. I know you got some questions for Derrick.
So I've been researching you, man. You know, Wolfie always says he calls it in the ring and I do all the research. So just think of me as your research guy here. So I'm reading in here that did you start in 97? Is that when you officially started?
Now that's the early part of that they say I started. I actually started in 94 to 85.
Okay.
But I was training then, but I actually did start, being on the road in 97.
Okay, gotcha. And then it shows that it was a tag match with Blade Boudreaux against Bo James and Brian Logan.
Yes, we went all the way to, yes, I remember that. We went all the way up to that part of Tennessee. That was like when this is when I was a kid. I didn't have to worry about, my mom said, just be back home by Monday. Just be home by Monday. So I did that. I remember like, it's so sad, but that's so true. And I just remember like having $20 in my pocket going, we're on the road, guys. On
the road. Here we go.
That's awesome.
But it was I tell younger guys now, I can say younger guys now, but I tell the younger guys now, that's the best time of my career was when I first started. Because now it's like, do I have to put tights on? Do I have to do this? Do I have to, until you get out there, once you get out in the ring, it's fine. But, beforehand, it's like, oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Getting dressed and getting undressed are two of the shittiest things about wrestling.
Right. If I can just show up to the show already dressed and leave, like, this will be perfect. But then I hate when they go, can you get dressed early? I go, I'm not getting dressed early. I don't want to put this stuff on. It's so sad. But yeah, Blade Boudreaux and those times against Bo James and Brian Logan. That was it's funny. I remember that. You would think I remember anything at this moment, but that was good times. That's when I really, really, really loved the business.
Yeah, so Bo is from my hood. So I'm from the Northeast Tennessee, Southwest Virginia area. So that's kind of how I that focused in on Bo. Not to say that anything else about Bo, but
old Bo.
Okay.
And then Shane
wants to drop the strap.
Yes. And then it looked like for MCW, Shane Eden, Jamie Dundee, and then Wolfie D. I mean, you started working some great guys there for sure.
So yeah, when those times started happening, I had been on the road with Bill Dundee for a minute, and then so I'd been on the road with him, and so then I got to meet Byrd, and then of course there was a Terry Golden. I got to meet with Terry Golden from Brighton, so I got to wrestle at different places. If they said there was a ring and they were going, I got in the car. So it was
awesome.
like I just wanted to go, and now you can't get guys now to go around the corner to have a match and then get paid. But then I was just ready to go and, gung ho about the business. It's just so, I guess as I look at it now, it's a little different than what it was. But those times when here I am, watching Wolfie and Jamie, of course, on television in Memphis. When I'm getting in the ring with those guys, it's like, this is what I've been waiting to do my whole life. But it's just that's what because especially growing up in Memphis, that's all I knew was Channel 5. It didn't matter about nothing else in the world. Channel 5 was where it was at. And I don't think that anybody understands, if you're not, some people don't understand that, they go, Jerry Law was just a commentator, or Memphis Wrestling was this. I go, Memphis Wrestling was probably the best wrestling I've ever been around and been a part of. So
absolutely.
Getting to wrestle those kind of guys was
And exactly. You know what, Derrick, that I've noticed, we could say the internet killed the business and shit like that, but at the same time, the internet has kind of helped. For instance, somebody like myself, when, Memphis kind of really knew who PG-13 was. Yes, we got a run here and there and, we got some national exposure. But now because of the internet and YouTube and everything's on there, man, more people, and I heard this, when I go to these conventions up north, it's like, we have watched so much Memphis wrestling and blah, 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 and they love it. They fucking love it. And then they do realize how good fucking Jerry Lawler was now. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. And sadly, they missed out on it because I always say that, I wish I was a few years older so I could have been a part of, the territory days, because it was so much, so much. Trust me, they're making tons of money now. It's more of a show business place than it was then. And sadly, with show business then, we just didn't tell it. Now we tell everything. We can't wait to just say, hey, well, they blow this up too. And, it's just everything behind the scenes. So it kind of kills it. But I get it. I'm definitely with you on the internet. It definitely breathes new life into a lot of things, because there's a convention for everything. I mean, literally a convention for like, okay, we're going to have this. Like when you get to see, a few years ago, Batman and all these kind of people who did these, these other characters on television. That's nostalgic. Now wrestling is a big part of it too.
Exactly.
It's like every week. It's like a wrestling week. Like especially this week, WrestleMania weekend.
Oh yeah.
There'll be 15,000 Comic Cons going around just for wrestling. So
no doubt. Yep. Yeah, absolutely,
man.
And so then next up, you're not only going from Shane Eden, Jamie Dundee, Wolfie D, then you get your toe wet in OVW, brother. That was really cool, man, because around that time, there's some daggone superheroes working there. You know what I mean?
The crazy thing about OVW was the first time I went to OVW, I rode with Bill Dundee and Blade Boudreaux and I did. And I wrestled Dutch Mantel, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is fun. It's just a road trip, met Danny Davis and so forth and so on. And then so when we were doing Power Pro Wrestling, Nick Dinsmore came to Power Pro. Nick Dinsmore and I were friends, and he's like, oh, you got to come to OVW. And I was like, well, it's not like I can just say, hey, I'm just going to try to wrestle up there. Well, like it's not like I put in an application and they like, hey, you're hired.
Right.
So Nick got me hooked up with Cornette. Cornette invited me up, and so I wrestled a couple of times there. And he goes, we want you to bleach your hair. I go, are you kidding me? I said, my mother's going to kill me. And so
my mother's going to kill me.
Exactly. So, of course,
be home by Monday and don't bleach your hair.
Don't bleach your hair. So you realize this, I went through the culture shock. I went through bleaching my hair, getting tattoos, my tongue pierced, and both my ear pierced. So I was like, I'm a wrestler now. This is what I'm doing. And so when I got I got my fanny pack and my high-tech boots, I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
But I finally when I got to OVW, it was like one of those kind of things like, I didn't know Randy Orton or Brock or John Cena or any of those guys, who they were anywhere else, because they were just starting there really. And I remember thinking, these are some big dudes. Jesus Christ, where they, and I'm having to work with them every week. Like I'm having to work with Brock thinking, this guy don't even know his own strength, but he's learning at the same time. And they're looking at me going, could you teach him how to do this? Or could you bump for him? Could you bump? I'm like, these guys are getting paid. I mean,
yeah.
I'm here to work. But
That's how you
Right.
feel up
And I
there
mean,
at
I was
OVW, man. I'm taking a daggum Greyhound bus from Nashville to Louisville on Wednesdays and not making very much, but staying at Cornette's house. And then you got these guys, Batista and all them coming in, and they got a weekly deal and they got an apartment and all that kind of shit. And it's just like, man, because at that point I'd been in the business 10 years or so, and it just felt unfair.
And you're exactly right, because it's so funny you say you took the Greyhound up. I was one half the tag team champions for OVW on the Greyhound from Memphis to Louisville. I was like, is this real? I got the belt in my bag. It's like a carry-on, like, don't put this bag down because I need to make sure that I get it. If they take my clothes, they can have it. Can't take the belt. Yeah. So, but it was it's funny because I remember they were trying to get us a developmental deal, me and Jason Lee, a developmental deal, but It was and this is when I learned where politics were in the business. And I was like, well, I just want to wrestle. And they was like, well, we'll have to figure something out. I didn't know what, I get how the business works, but a few months later, they're like, okay, we're going to pay you guys as trainers. And then you guys will just be done as, be on the payroll as trainers. So we ended up working with, Sheldon and Brock every week almost. We, against Orton a lot. So it was, then when you think back as a who's who of like the guys that got to wrestle, I go, well, I got to wrestle him, and I got to wrestle him. I gave him his first DDT, or it's like that's wild when you think about. They're the ones now. They're now the veterans of all this now. So this is a crazy world.
Let me ask you a quick question while I'm thinking about it. Explain the difference in wrestling Bill and Jamie.
Well, Bill's going to hit you hard. No. Bill, the difference is, to me. They're both old school. I'm gonna put it that way. They're both old school because they've both been called there. Jamie, they will both take the same bumps in a sense. Jamie's not taking the backdrop, neither is Bill. They're not taking the backdrop.
Right.
It's just they're almost, and when I say this, almost the exact same, but Jamie's just mobile, just moves more. Bill's like I was telling Wolfie this the other day. I said, Bill, I was in the dressing room trying to go over the match, and he just looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, we don't fucking call that shit back here. I was like, okay. And he goes, and then he gets in the ring and calls the match in Carney with an accent. I go, okay, I don't know what he's saying. And I hope to God I'm getting this right, because, they knew I could take backdrops or something like that. So it was just, but then again, if you watch wrestling long enough, you can work with almost anybody. Because if you watch that guy wrestle, you know what he does and what he doesn't do. So you can just kind of go by, the feel, because just some of the matches are just like Wolfie likes to have matches called in the ring. That's so much easier. When you try to remember a million spots, you're insane because the people don't buy that. I don't know if it's not a wrestling lesson, but it's just common sense. I mean, I've watched them draw money in Memphis for years without having to think about a billion spots. So Jamie and Bill almost the same. Bill will knock you out if he has to. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
So do you remember the time that we were staying at your house, and it was a late night, and I think there was more people than just me and you there, a few other people. But did I imagine this? Did I not pee in your aunt's little inside tree or something?
On my mother's ficus, yes, you did. And I remember thinking, it's funny that you said this. Oh my God, Wolfie, I have so many stories for you, young man. So many stories. I go, Lord. I remember thinking, I go, dude, that's my ficus, my mom's ficus, and you just sit there like you're outside. I'm like, we have a bathroom. We have a bathroom. I'm like, oh my God. Look, my mother passed away, but then I was thinking, this is why you don't have wrestlers at your parents' house, no matter what. It does not matter. I was like,
I smartened you up to that.
Yeah, don't ever do that. Like, don't come to my house. Nuh-uh. Get the guy in the room.
You are not invited.
You're not invited to the house. But also for me, that was the coolest thing was having all the wrestlers at my house. Like, oh, we're all hanging out. That's what the boys do. But then, of course, one drink leads to two drinks leads to three drinks, 4 drinks leads to a case of drinks. So by the time everybody's at home, they're like, who give, but I was like, this is before I became the raging or a professional drinker that I am today. Yeah, they lead us to professional. But I just remember thinking to myself, he can't pee on that, please. And I'm just watching, like, do I say something? Do I say something? Do I say something? And like, please. And he got into the bathroom, but it worked out. I was like, yeah, do not pee in the house. They have bathrooms.
Do not pee in the house. Bad dog. Bad Wolfie.
Bad dog. It's funny. I just kicked my dog out last night because he peed in the floor. I said, get out, and just left him out there with a shock collar on all night. Peter's going to be calling me tomorrow. Hey.
I'm glad you didn't put a shock collar on me while I was sleeping or something.
No, yeah, make you sit down for a second. I swear. Well, Wolfie, go ahead and tell me about the you beating the hell out of Alan Steele in Arkansas.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well,
Let's hear it.
I think we might have talked about this, Jimmy, but Derrick can give his perspective on it because really, I don't 100% remember it. I mean, we had done TV that morning, and then we were waiting for this show. Where was it at, Derrick? I forgot.
This is in some part of Arkansas. I want to say Earl. I want to say Earl, something like that. Somewhere over in Arkansas. Because
somewhere in Arkansas.
Eddie Adamson, the sheriff, was over there, and he ran a lot of things over there. I remember that.
Yeah. So, yeah, me and Alan are having a match, and I liked Alan, and I don't know really what. I mean, I drank all day is what happened, but so we get out there, and we're fighting in the crowd, and I don't know if I thought he was a mark grabbing me or something. Like,
right. Okay.
He like grabbed me on the shoulder or something and like spun me around, right, Derrick? And I just turned around and punched him right in the nose and busted his fucking nose all up. He's bleeding and shit. I didn't even really realize I'd done it to him.
I would tell you, the night started off, you already knew, the guys get to town a little early, because this is one of those, we've had TV. And, we got to go out to eat afterwards. And, there's always every place we went to has a bar. And I did learn that in the business. Always go someplace with the bar. And so we get to the show. Mind you, the show is for the, don't do drugs, just say no kind of motif. Let's be on our very best behavior. Yeah. And I'm really working with Wolfie on television, kind of with at the same time in single matches. But then so they're gonna have a match with him and Alan. Buddy Landale goes out and tells, the born again Christian, I don't do this, I don't do that.
Watch
saga of what every wrestler goes out and do the promo. Like, I'm done doing drugs, I'm done drinking, I'm doing all that. Wolfie's back here in the dressing room by the curtain going, he's lying. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I'm nervous because I get heat for just like smiling at the ring. Randy Hill's like, Derrick King, you're just quit smiling in the ring. I'm like, oh gosh. So Wolfie's like going, who cares? I'm like, oh, this is for the kids and everybody.
I was a heel. I was getting heat.
He was definitely getting heat. Forest City, Arkansas. Is there Forest City?
Yep.
Yeah, Forest City. And I just can remember how that building looked. And so he's out there. Then I'm like, and Ray's like, Wolfie's messed up, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm going to sit over here and pretend like I had not had a beer tonight and do my match because he's wrestling Alan later on. And so we're watching the match because, this is another thing that's so different about the wrestling. I used to watch every match, now I'm like, just tell me when I'm on. But it's so bad. Yeah. But I used to watch every match because they all kind of, were very, very important. But so Alan's getting an opportunity to wrestle for the title, to see what he does. And they're out there fighting, and all of a sudden, Alan's nose is busted. I'm like, what in the hell? And I go, and he's beating. And like, here's what happens. Like when you start, all right, I'm just beating this guy. It's like you get in the moment, the heat of the moment, the passion of the wrestling. Now you're having a Donnybrook, so to speak, or like the concession stand brawl out there. Like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And Randy's pacing the floor back there in the back going, fuck, shit, what the hell? And he goes, I have mine to take the belt off Wolfie and put it on Alan. I go, he's about to win the title tonight? What is he about to do? To put the belt on him for beating the shit out of him? So Alan gets back busting those broken nose. Wolfie gets back like, man, what happened? Blah. That I sweat out half what I drank before I got the match is over. Like, What the fuck happened, dude? My fault. I'm sorry. It's like,
my bad. That's the wrestling business. I'm sorry, man. Sorry.
Exactly, man. And Alan's over here fucking bleeding everywhere. And I'm like, and Randy's like really contemplating taking the belt off. And I go, this is insane. I just watched it. And a guy about to lose the belt because he beat the shit out of another wrestler because he's fucked up out here, and it's great. But it's one of those kind of things I thought, I have seen it all in wrestling. But then again, PG-13 never sees the amazing. They always going to do something. Always.
That's
always something.
Yeah. So you were a fan of USWA, obviously, growing up. You said TV5 was your life. That makes total sense. So obviously then there comes Power Pro, which Power Pro was pretty much the next step for USWA, other than losing Louisville and Nashville and these kinds of things. That was the Memphis-based wrestling. How was it for you wrestling for Power Pro? Because, I'm looking at the guys you worked there. Again, it's like the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling in a sense. You got Tony Falk, Ricky Morton, Brian Christopher, Kurt Angle. Dude, everybody. Talk about Power Pro some.
I was a lucky, skinny black kid, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I love wrestling, and I think they all knew it. But I'm not going to sit here and wrestling because, we all push our own egos. But I could work, or I could at least listen, and I could do what they needed me to do. And so Power Pro was my opportunity to be on live television, Channel 5, at 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday mornings, which I grew up watching forever. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. Life is over after this. I don't want, my mom wanted me to, be in school and I was doing what I wanted to do. They didn't have to pay me. I was happy to be there. Yeah. Power Pro was my Derrick King moment of becoming the wrestler who, I am today, because that's what shaped me. And it was like one of those kind of things, like I wanted to have the best match on television every week. I wanted to go out there and work hard. It was my dream. So when it's so funny because it was from high school, I used to always put I want to be a pro wrestler. And so when all my friends from high school saw me on Channel 5, they're like, you're the only person from our school that really did exactly what he said he was going to do when he got out of high school.
Yeah,
and I go, you only live one life. And my mother told me, she goes, you got to go to college. You got to do this. You got to pay for this. You pay for training yourself. I'm not paying for it, But she was very supportive. She's like, okay, let him. That's my son. Let him go do what he wants to do. And but also knowing that I'm sure she thought I would never be in this world now, Derrick King or whatever that means. But never thought I would be a hill of beans about doing anything. Like TD Steele or somebody just getting beat up every week or whatever.
TD Steele.
And no disrespect to TD Steele, but I'm just saying that she thought I'd be rough and ready 3. And, but I was lucky to, just to adapt to it. And, and Randy Hale's who I give a lot of props to because he put me out there. He goes, go out there, he goes, go work. And I go, if it wasn't for Randy, between David Millick and Randy Hale, sometimes I don't know if I would have ever made it to anything. But, because I was a small guy and they took a chance. And so Power Pro, and, like when Kurt Angle came, I remember Bruce Pritchard telling Randy, why don't you just have Kurt go squash Brandon and Derrick because he's Kurt Angle. And Randy's like, no, just stood up for us. We were in Covington, Tennessee. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm glad he didn't come out because I don't know. I guess he would just beat us up. I don't know what we would have done. I don't know what we would have had to fight this guy. But it's just like one of those kind of things like, Power Pro was, every Saturday morning, you got to think, I'm getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning, like, I can't wait to get TV. Yeah. Another Wolfie story. This is so crazy because we were in Louisville because we were doing OVW, which is crazy. On a Friday night, we had a big show on Friday night and had to drive all the way to TV the next morning. No sleep because Alan Steele was in the car too. And it was like one of those kind of things like, well, there's an after party. I was like, well, we got to go to the after party. We're not missing that. And so we go to the after party. And it's like, that's part of the show. You got to go. So we get going back to Memphis rather, and it is daylight. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think people come to my house to get ready. We're trying to take an hour nap or whatever, trying to get that ready together. Finally get to TV, and I'm wrestling. Wolfie goes, yeah, we'll do it. He goes, just do it out there. I go, do what? He goes, and this is for the title and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, this is my only chance. And he's like, no, just we'll do that one spot and go. I go, all right. And at TV, you're literally going, go, 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 go. They're already saying go 100 times.
Yeah.
And so we go to the ring, and one of my favorite matches of all time, Randy has it. I think he sent me a copy of it, but one of my favorite matches, because I was like, we didn't call anything. We were just out there working. Here I am thinking, yeah, now I can just sit back and go, yeah, I can work. It didn't matter. But that Power Pro and, those kind of live TV, you can't mess up.
Right.
And if you do, life goes on. So Power Pro made me the wrestler that I feel like I am today, because that's what it is. Live Channel 5. You can wrestle on Channel 5, and not many people can say that now.
Right. No.
So what you're saying is one of your favorite matches of your career is against me on 1 hour of sleep and called nothing before the match.
and I should have beat you then. I should have beat you right then. I don't know if Wolfie's ever put me over. I bring him to town. He never put me over.
I think I have. I think me and Jamie probably put you and Drew over probably in Nashville.
Close. We all still won, but we got the belts. You know how that.
There you go.
And that's when we did. Drew there was one night where Drew forgot his boots, and he went to the ring in his short tights, no knee pads, black socks, and loafers, like dress shoes. And Jamie comes up with this spot where he takes his shoe off and starts tickling his feet.
Only in wrestling.
You remember that, Derrick?
I do.
And only Jamie could do that spot. It probably would have been funny if I did it, but
I look at that. There was a match that somebody just posted not long ago, and I watched Jamie drop an elbow off the top. He's like, I'm not taking this damn bump. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
It's like feet, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I don't blame you today. Because I would take that bump today at all.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Getting engaged is a moment worth cherishing. A one-of-a-kind ring that you design at Blue Nile can help your love sparkle. Just choose your diamond and setting. When you've found the one, you'll get it delivered right to your door. Finding the right engagement ring can be nerve-wracking. At Blue Nile, you'll have the expert guidance needed and a diamond guarantee that ensures you're getting the highest quality at the best price. Cherish all of life's moments and save up to 30% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
This is Steve Bowtie Bryant here. Back in the 90s, I was a pro wrestling photographer for the South, and I released what might have been one of the original sets of indie trading cards. I ran across some of these original sets. They were up in Randall Fanning's attic all this time. PG-13 rookie card, Ricky Morton, George Weingroff as the Sheep, Chris Champion, Reno Riggins, Billy Montana, Gary Valiant, the Scorpion, the Medic, Rick Reynolds, Jeff Daniels, Mephisto and Dante, Ben Jordan, Steve Neely, Marcus Woodrow, Clinton Charisma, Little Farmer John. If you'd like an opportunity to get these cards, contact me now. You can get them for only $49.99. Contact me at Steve Bowtie Bryant at iCloud.com. Get your set now while supplies last.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
So, like I said, you've been working some of the Mount Rushmore. You got Ricky Morton, you got Brian Christopher, you got the Kurt Angle match we talked about there. Then you actually worked one of my personal Wolfie's favorite tag teams ever. You got to work the Fabulous Ones in OVW, dude. We love Steve on here. We had Steve as a guest a few months back, but honestly, how was working the Fabs, man?
So a guy who grew up in Memphis, who only knew Jerry Lawler, the Fab, Tojo, and Jerry Jarrett,
right,
and Jackie Fargo. And mind you, Jackie Fargo was in their corner, and when we wrestled, so I remember Cornette giving us a match, and I'm thinking to myself, first of all, Jason Lee and I are small guys, and you never realize how big wrestlers are because they just have just like huge guys. Are like, what have they been drinking? What have they been eating? I mean, my mom just told me eat cereal. I don't know, but these guys are huge. I'm like, and the Cornette's like, I want you guys to do like you did back in the day. When y'all go for a tag, really go for the tag. And I've heard this before when I talked to Moondog Spice. Like when they were going for a tag, they were really going for a tag. Like it wasn't like we're working. They were like scratching and like trying to get to their partner. I was like, who's gonna hold these guys down? Because I'm sitting here thinking, okay. And literally when they got in there, they did that. But I will tell you, when they got to the ring and did the strut and all that kind of stuff, I'm watching it. I forget I'm in the match almost. It's funny. I've heard people say that, but I forgot I was in the match for 2 seconds. I go, oh, damn, I'm here.
Crap. Pinch myself.
You're right. And another thing, they didn't talk a lot about what we're going to do out there. They just said, okay, we'll do that and this and go. And I was like, this is wild. And then one little small thing in my head I'll always remember, I got the rest of the Fabs with Jackie Fargo in their corner, which a lot of people will never get to say ever in life. Yeah, and it was
exactly
one of those kind of things where like, I'm working the Fabs. So it pretty cool moment. And obviously I met Steve and Stan a couple of times after that too, but it was one of those kind of things like, man, they are, for me, they were the tag, and for Memphis, they're the tag team. These are the guys, so to get the rest of those, like this, you don't get no better than this at this time. It's like, thank you, Cornette. Thank you for looking at. So, I appreciate it. So it was good. I don't get those moments like that. You don't get those every day. So
right.
Not everybody can do exactly what you were saying about, because my story's similar as far as like high school and me telling people, and I was about the same height I am now, but a lot less heavier. And, nobody thought I had a chance of doing something that they knew that, man, he loves wrestling. He thinks he's going to be a wrestler, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? A lot of those people today, some of them listen to this show and some of them, talk to me like, man, that's so cool. You did, and being a wrestler is just something, I don't know. It's different to the common folk, and Jimmy's heard me say this 1,000 times, but you could tell somebody, hey, I used to be an astronaut, and they'd be like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Must took a lot of training.
Right.
I used to be a pro wrestler. No, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Right. You're exactly right.
Stone Cold, so true. The Rock. And they flip the fuck out, man.
Yeah.
You're right. Because they know what that is. They've watched those people. They've seen that. They go, they know that, Ashton's like, oh, you went to the moon? Okay, I get it, but I'm not going to the moon. But you did what? You wrestled, blah, blah. So there's man, I don't want to answer that call. Anyway, I don't know why they're calling me. But yeah, those kind of things you never, they don't ever, because you're now a celebrity to them.
Right.
And there you go, man, you got to do that's what you want to do. That's a storybook story. You don't get everybody don't get that.
Or
they don't get it.
Or have actually, when you really think about it, have the balls to roll those dice. As far as like, most of my friends went to college and, did that kind of shit, and got their jobs and had their families and all that.
Exactly.
And I was that kid just like you that was jumping in the car at 16 years old going, where we headed? Let's go.
Right.
Right.
And that's
with no clue where you're going. Just going.
if I hadn't have made it as far as I did, I don't know what I would have done, because I didn't graduate, although, I got a GED later in life, but I rolled the dice, man. And, hell, I may not have much today, but I had a fucking very fun life. And like you said, you only live once.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it's so funny you say it because my friends, lots of my friends are lawyers. Yeah. Worked at FedEx since they were 16 or 17 years old, or, been doing work. I go, dude, I was traveling and seeing everything that you wanted to see. Not because it's not because I'm trying to say my life was better. I'm just saying I live what I want to do. I did not want to work a 9-to-5 job. I did not want to, it's crazy because I have a 15-year-old son and he's about to be 16. Man. If I didn't have a kid, I don't know if I would be working now like a real job. Yeah. I mean, well, let me get out here and see what shows I can just do and, be wrestling forever. But, don't get me wrong. I do like the time of sitting at home and being normal, but, once it's in your blood, it's in your blood and you can't get it out. We're hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So, you're working all these guys and we're leading up to this. And Wolfie has great stories about working the Eliminators, especially, they just came back from Japan and Wolfie D and them are kind of getting the titles put on them and they're pissed off about it. And you actually got to work Perry Saturn on WWF Jacked in December of 2000. So let's hear little Perry Saturn stories from both you guys here.
Well, I'll go first. Let me just say this because I would tell you because I just knew Perry Saturn from Memphis, really, because I just watched him as Eliminator from Memphis, and I was like, all right, it's Perry Saturn. Then I, obviously see him in WWE. I am enamored because I'm wrestling WWE. First of all, I'm like, I'm here. Yeah, I am on the show. Yeah. So it never dawned on me like it's going to be a big deal. I know what I'm supposed to go here and do. Just remember what he told me. I mean, he was very nice about what do you want to do out there. You got anything you want to do? This is blah blah. Like, man, it's whatever, I'm open, but let me know what you want to do. My job is to make sure, you're taken care of. So, and he, very nice. I did a spot, which was crazy because they didn't trust a lot of guys. I did a spot where Terry cross-bodied me. And they were like, do not drop her. And I was like, oh, my God, do not drop this girl. If I don't drop nobody else, if I can drop anybody else in the world, do not drop this lady. And so it was a pretty good thing that, they trusted me and all that kind of stuff. But I will tell you, I had just got my tongue pierced maybe 2 months before that. And he side kicked me in the face, and I thought he kicked my tongue ring out of my mouth. I go, Jesus Christ. I go, am I here? And I I start feeling for my tongue ring or running. I was like, is this still in my mouth? But the match couldn't have been easy. I will say I got to, of course, this is the time when WWE started using all the, people even throwing to the steps and stuff like that. It's like, I got to hit the steps. In the sad when you say stuff like that, like, man, I got to hit the steps. They hit me with the stairs. It was so great. I was like, it's you got hit with stairs, dude. That's not cool. I was like, no, man, it felt great. It felt great. But he super easy. The side note about that same night, because, when you go to WWE, they have everything. They got, food, they got baby oil, they got white tape, and every wrestler, I need white tape. And right now, the shows I go to now, I just stand up in dressing and go, what do you need, Derek? I go, white tape. Who has white tape? So all the guys bring white tape. But Brian Christian goes, you need some tape? I go, yeah. He goes, there's a whole thing of it. I was like, well, that was mighty nice of him to come over here and just hook me up with some tape. I was like, let me get 2 rolls if you don't mind. Because he knew I obviously was lost and didn't know. I was just happy to be there. But the Perry Saturn thing was a mighty good touch because it was easy, but the kick, I thought I lost my tongue ring. But the match was fun, and I remember going over the spot with Terry, thinking, he goes, "Can you catch it?" And every wrestler says this, "Oh yeah, I got it." And I thought to myself, "Oh yeah, you better have it." Because if you don't,
it just puts that seed of doubt, make it home. Right? Yeah,
right. Because you gotta go. You're sure of yourself, but you're always trying to, double check yourself when you get like, okay, catch her. Because that's if everything else fucks up, catch her.
Catch her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Jimmy, I've told you most of my shit with Perry. I mean, basically just, they beat the fucking shit out of me and Jamie for how many ever weeks or months that was in Memphis. And then, later on in TNA, obviously I was bigger and not as big as Perry, and he was still just cock strong, man. And he was very stiff back in Memphis. He wasn't as bad in TNA. That's just, where he had worked for all those years. I guess lightened up a little bit. He kind of figured that part of it out. But he was always real snug, and I liked him, man. But he was just one of those dudes, man. You knew if he wanted to, he could eat your fucking lunch, man.
Oh, man. And then, of course, you work the Nature Boy's son, David Flair, at OVW. Yeah. Did it fall far from the tree?
Well, Dave's, God bless him. He bless his heart. David's a super nice guy, because I actually booked David after the OVW stuff, and we of course tried to do the Steamboat Flair chops. And I go, this is why I don't take chops, because they hurt.
Yeah.
Because I don't like chops at all. I hate them. I knew my job was to take bump and help make him have a good, or really just have a good match. It wasn't, I'd watched David on WCW, and I thought he's just here because that's what they want him to do. He don't really,
right.
He want to be a wrestler at this. I mean, I don't know if my dad was that famous, if I wanted to be let me do the same job my dad did and not be good. So that's few and far between. There's not a lot of second or third generation wrestlers that can do that.
Right.
But you have the last name Flair. You better be great. And I mean, look at his sister. His sister's awesome. She is awesome. But David, I don't think I expected the match to be Flair Steamboat Classic. I just thought it'd be like, I'll take the bumps, and we'll get wherever they need him to be, because they tried. I think he was a babyface at the time, and they, just trying to get him over. I was like, well, let's just do that and go from there, because that's my job. At least I'm doing my part. But I never thought of him going like, he's not going to want to do this. You can tell somebody's passion.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can see if he really wants to be doing this. I think sometimes he just wants to be around it, or by proxy, he has no choice. Like, oh, well, I'm the oldest boy, I got to go. So
yeah, I mean, I almost think that's what you're saying is basically, I don't think his heart was in it, but I felt like that's what he thought he had to do.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. He was drafted. And it's like,
right.
Oh, I got to go. My dad, Ric Flair, I got to go do this. Obviously Reed was probably the better athlete or a better wrestler, or pro wrestler, but then Charlotte comes out as the one who does it all. So what a family, what a conflicted world they live. But I mean, you can't deny Ric Flair. I mean,
never.
You can't deny Ric Flair. He's the guy who's done it all. So
yeah. Derek, I kind of saved this part of mine for the finish here, a story, and this was for the same the AWA, the Acadian Wrestling, and my match that ended pretty much my career, or that made me say I didn't want to do it no more for a long time, many years, and I've only had a couple of matches since. It was me and you, and then you and Tracy and Moonshine Mantell were, I had y'all as a little faction or whatever. Y'all get on me. First, I blow my tricep out, rip it completely off the bone during our match. I remember I Thez pressed Derrick, and no fault of Derrick's, just my elbow was jacked up and it was ready to go. And so when we hit the ground, all probably, you were probably 230, I'm 250, so whatever that is added together, lands on my elbow. That was the first thing to hit the ground. Bam! And it felt like that son of a bitch, which it pretty much did, but it felt like it exploded. And so my next move was going to be, I knew it hurt, and so I tried to punch Derrick, and something just wasn't right, obviously, and it hurt. And then I tried to choke him, and I couldn't even push down on him. And I don't remember, Derrick, if I said anything to you. I don't remember. But we went, I don't think we finished right away, because I knew that what was coming up was me and Adam were going to do the doomsday device on you. And I had taken the doomsday device a bazillion times, and I was, if that was one way for me to go the fuck out, is tear my arm up, but I still get to do my hero's finish with my hero on you, Derrick. As a matter of fact, makes it even better. But yeah, man, that was awesome.
I would take it. I remember you going, "Oh, this is going to be great," and I remember that night because, of course, Derrick King's wearing Confederate. BS. I think we got banned from a building for that. But
yeah, we got kicked out of Springfield because Derrick. I had Derrick hang me with a noose, and he was wearing rebel flag stuff, and he's black, and the principal was all fucked up.
Oh, I bet.
Oh man, that doesn't age well, does it?
No.
Oh God, I'll be canceled tomorrow.
Oh man. Oh, man. Only in wrestling, you know.
Right. I'm like, I'll be doing podcasts from now on because my job just found out I did it. No, but I just, I'll be mad as hell. No, but that was, I remember you being excited about doing it. I was like, of course, I'm thinking to myself, man, I can take that flip. I got to take that bump. I'm like, because he wasn't going down with me. And he's like, I'm just going to toss you over. I was like, yeah, shit, I don't even do moonsaults. I'm old now, but
can't even do a moonsault.
I was like, what the hell am I doing? Hey, and but I do remember
go ahead, go.
No, I was gonna say we both said it. Go ahead. I'm gonna shut up. You go.
All right. So you're probably fixing to tell this, but if you remember, his knee was bad, and he about lost you. Do you remember that?
Yes, I was gonna say because I had to grab the top rope.
Yes.
And balance back up. Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
He staggered, Jimmy. He staggered, and Derrick was on his shoulders, and he about threw Derrick off his shoulders into the fucking third row. But Derrick caught the rope. And see, I saw none of that. I was climbing the rope at the time that was happening. So when I turned around, hell, there they were, ready to go. My arm's hurting. I'm thinking, fuck it, I'm going. Boom, and did the deal.
Yeah, I get to be Hawk is what you're thinking.
And you know how you're in the dressing room after they tell you, like, this is the finish, you're like, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good. That's good. And then you're sitting there contemplating going, now what the fuck are we doing? Am I taking this? Am I going up for this? Because you've seen it 1,000 times on TV. Yeah. Like, I ain't never taken that. Never taken that.
Yeah.
It was easy. It was fun. That's and for that to be one of your, because I know you loved it. I was like, yeah, well, that was fun for me. It works out.
You didn't die.
Yeah.
I didn't die. Here I am. Never taking the bump again, but yeah, I got
it. So, man, in wrapping up too, I know you are working with Dustin and them down there in Memphis. Tell me how that's going for you. I know you've tried to recruit me, and I'm just not into making a 6-hour trip. And I don't want to insult anybody with the amount of money it would take for me to do a 6-hour trip these days. But at any rate, tell me about that. Talk if you got social media you want people to know about, plug that, and anything else you want to talk about real quick before we go.
This is and this is real fast because I really don't do a lot of. I mean, I have I think it's Derrick King 1 on Twitter. I never do anything really social media. I really don't. I'm on Facebook. I think it's all that because I just don't really get into that wrestling world like that anymore because there's so much going on. Everybody's talking about everything. But the thing with Dustin, I guess is WCW, WWE down here for no reason. For no reason at all. I think that there's a war going on down here, but it's just, you say you don't want to drive 6 hours down here. Sometimes I don't want to drive 16 minutes to the building. So I am happy that Dustin's doing something to at least keep some semblance of Memphis wrestling going on. Mm-hmm. I don't like to call it Memphis wrestling at times because it ain't what I grew up watching, but then again, it is what it is. It's definitely the wrestling that's on in Memphis, and it's very good. And Dustin's working his butt off. This is all he does, which is I'm happy for him, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I think that I think it's called Championship Wrestling from Memphis. I think at this time in all over the social media world. I'm sure he's plugged it somewhere, but I'm just I'm happy for him because it's his, and he's my friend, so I want him to do well, and I want the show to do well. But the far as all sometimes the social media and all that kind of stuff, the guy who loved wrestling, the guy who loved it the most and wanted to be a part of it all the time, sometimes it's just a little too much for me because I just can't I can't keep up with it. And I really,
sure.
and I do mean this honestly, that, my kid, it's just me and my son. And so I want to he's all I got. And so I just want him to have a good time. And so if he tells me we're not going somewhere, I'm trying to figure out where he wants to go. So,
Right.
wrestling's always going to be my first and ever love for real. But my kid takes, he kind of jumped in and screwed that up a little bit. I cussed him for it.
He screwed that up for you.
It happens.
But I'm sure I'm tagged in something. I'll check it out, but I'm not a big. I don't want to tell somebody to come check it out because I don't post anything. Because I'm probably posting something about food or something. I don't know if some silly shit on
I get it, man. I get it. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for all the good times. The history that we have together. I've always considered you a friend, not just an acquaintance. You've been there for me at different times when I might have needed some help, in different ways. But I appreciate you, Derrick. I've always liked working with you, and it's been great having you on and talking to you. And so we're going to come back. What is it, Jimmy? Ask Wolfie anything?
Ask Wolfie D anything.
Ask Wolfie D anything.
Oh, Lord. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm going to leave you with this, Derrick. Don't bleach your hair and be home by Monday.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Derrick.
All right,
appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Uh-huh.
DJ, hit the music. All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. We had a great show with Derrick. What a cool dude, man. Just a hilarious, fun time. I'm so glad you made the call and got him on the show. That was a really cool get right there. So the first one is from Daniel Chad Whitehead from Facebook, and he says the worst or / most dangerous places that you worked and you would prefer not to have gone back to or not to go back to. Did you ever have any dangerous places where you just didn't want to go back to?
Puerto Rico.
I knew that was it.
For me. But even if that wouldn't have happened, the Icy Hot incident, it still is a dangerous place, man. I've told you some of the other stories of the fans chasing us down the baseball field and all the stuff that they throw at you and all that kind of mess, man. But it was a fun place to work, but you had to watch your back. So that's pretty much a hands down no brainer on that one for me.
Yeah, so is it just the Americans are all basically heels there? Is that the deal? I know Puerto Rico's.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the case, and I don't know really honestly what the today's feel is there. I have no clue, but then I guess you're right about that.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious there. So, all right, next question is from a listener on Facebook, Chance Richardson, and he says, what is your favorite memory of working at the fairgrounds?
Well, I'll tell you, it was during the Smoky Mountain feud, and it was a packed house, and it's the way that the fairgrounds used to be set up, where the bleachers kind of went to the top on the sides, and then you had the balconies. And everything was full. And when that building is packed like that and that setup, it's pretty cool. It's like people all around you. Cage match. I'm coming off the top of the cage on Tracy Smothers with the front flip through the table. And I go up, I get on top of the cage, and it's like I was in that crouch position, getting ready to stand. Yeah. And it's like, as I stood up, the entire fucking building stood up with me.
Wow.
It was like, whoa, this is pretty fucking cool.
I'm sure it's like seeing the wave, but all at once, you know what I mean? Instead of,
it's not like I was really looking out at them. Because I'm looking where I'm going, but and make sure I don't fucking fall. But, just as I'm standing up, everybody stood with me. It was just a really crazy feeling. It was pretty cool.
But that's got to be cool, man. Chill bumps are on me right now, so that's awesome. Yeah. So let me ask you, the tables, where did y'all used to get those tables at? Do you know?
Different places. You could go to, you used to go to Walmart, I guess Lowe's, stuff like that. But a lot of times you'd find one in the building or something. Of course, you'd have to pay the building for it if you tore it up or whatever.
Right.
Or you could go buy one,
Right.
The is to get an 8-foot table. I see some of these videos where dudes you can't use the 6 foot. I mean, you can, but it's just so much harder to break.
Right.
Don't get them. Don't fucking gimmick the tables. I don't understand why that's a thing, because the motherfucker will break if you hit with the right. People don't understand trajectory sometimes. And just because you're coming from a certain height, if you're doing a flip, you still got to, it's physics, man. You still got to put the weight in the right spot at the right time to not bounce off of it.
Yeah. Well, I heard recently on another podcast, and I can't even remember which one it was, but that basically no longer can you go to Lowe's and Home Depot. They don't have those types of tables anymore.
Really?
You essentially have to order them specially from someplace online, or in the rare occurrence that the building has one and they're okay with you buying it. Yeah. But and a lot of times now they're those hard white plastic tables that you can find places, and do not try to break those apparently, because that ain't happening. You'll be like a trampoline bouncing off of those. But and so you're saying is the magic one is the 8 foot, because that gives you enough of the middle to where
it'll break. The 6 foot, the reason I know is because when Jamie got pile drive through the table by Tommy Rich in the cage after the cage match, they went through it. Like it didn't snap and lay down, where the middle collapses. The whole thing fucking exploded, and they went through it. And Tommy's back, like there was screws that hold the braces on and stuff, and it ripped him from his fucking asshole up to his fucking neck, man. I can imagine that hurt like a son of a bitch.
There's no way it didn't, man. Good Lord. Wildfire indeed. Golly.
And if it was a pile driver, so that's a lot of weight in one spot, so they were able to get through it. But I guarantee on a 6 foot, it's extremely hard to like dive on somebody and bust it and do it right. And just makes it 8 foot's the magic number.
8 foot's the magic. I like it. Okay, well, this next one is from listener Chase Britton on Facebook, and this is actually a cool question because we haven't really talked about this one very much. So, inspiration for your Cerebus character. And is that a character you enjoyed doing? And it's one of his favorites. I guess talk about the Cerebus character, because I really like that character. But again,
Cerebus was basically just a spinoff of Slash. I just kind of added to it, took the scar away, added the fangs, new get up. But it was basically just me still being Slash, but not being Slash. And the name, I can't take the credit for the name because I was doing the gimmick or whatever. And then TCW, Traditional Championship Wrestling, that was based out of Missouri with Matt Riviera was the owner. And, he'd called me, or I don't remember how we got in touch, but about me working for him. And I think I just said, man, I'll just come as Slash. And he didn't want to do that. He wanted to have his own name for his thing or whatever. And so I think I might have even been using the Like an Assassin, not that as my name, but kind of Wolfie D, the Like an Assassin.
Right.
And so anyway, Cerebus came up, and it's actually Cerebus, which is I think it's Greek mythology, but it's the 3-headed dog that guards the gates of Hades or some shit like that.
Yeah, that guards the gates of the underworld.
Yeah. And so that's when I had to make it with that name. I had to make it more doggish, wolfish, whatever you want to say there. But I love doing that character, and I made most of the gear for it out of Evil Foam. Watched a lot of YouTube on these kids, how they make the cosplay outfits, and figured out how to do it. And I made my own stuff as far as the chest plates and things like that. So it was fun.
Yeah, man. I remember you.
gave me that name, so I can't take the credit for the name, but that's what it is.
Yeah, but it made sense because you were doing Slash, but you also Cerebus was a two-headed dog, and you got the Wolfie element to it, and definitely made sense to me. If you really thought about it, the Lycan assassin, that all made sense. You're a wolf, you're a man,
My partner that they were putting me with, Gary Roosevelt Graham, was I forget what his wrestling name is. Something with a dog. Oh crap! He'd punch me right now if he knew I couldn't think of the working name. But anyway, he was kind of a dog-like person, and they called us the Hounds of Hell. So yeah, it all made sense.
Oh, I love that tag team too, man. That was very cool, So anyway, that's a good question. Like I said, we haven't talked about Cerebus very much, and definitely appreciate that question.
That was his name. It was Roosevelt. Roosevelt the dog.
Okay, nice.
Gary Roosevelt Graham. Good dude.
Yeah. Well, I like that gimmick. I love the two dog gimmick. Element, wolf, dog, whatever. It all canine familia. Yeah. Canis familia. Anyway, Canis. Is that right? Did I just say Canis? Is that a dog? Yeah.
I believe it is.
All right. Well, you got one more in you, man?
Yeah, man.
All right. One of these days you're going to say, nope, I don't.
Nope, I'm done.
All right. We'll see you later. So this last one is from our old friend Cause Effect on Instagram. He asked this good question. I've actually never heard you answer this out of all the many questions you've had. Your favorite referee that ever called your matches, or some of your favorite refs?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I only had the opportunity. We had him on, Jerry Calhoun. I only had the opportunity for him to referee my matches just a handful of times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say him. Bill Rush was a good one that did a lot of my matches. Let's see.
Kevin Lawler was always really good. I mean, how can Kevin Lawler not be good when your dad's the king and your brother is Brian? But he was always a good referee, and sometimes the Bumblebee came out, and he was a good kind of job guy on there, and I always appreciated Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, man. Of course, the guys that are in WCW and WWE and even the ECW, and I can't think of everybody's name, and I apologize to anyone. Rudy Charles was a good one.
Billy Silverman. Rudy Charles is doing really well for himself. Yeah,
and the little blonde-headed kid that works for one of them now. I can't think of his name. He wrestled Mike Posey.
Yeah, okay,
he was a good one. And then there's some that Frank was Frank. Frank Burrell.
Yeah,
yeah. And then you had his Paul Neighbors, but he was kind of on his way out of refereeing when I kind of got in, and he was more of a manager. Let me think, man. You had Joe Wheeler in Louisville. He was okay. He's a great person. He's just older and, moving around would be the only reason I would say anything negative, just moving around like some of the younger guys can. We all hit that like I'm experiencing today. Mark Curtis, he was more of a heel referee when I was around him, because that was the angle that he was the referee for the Smoky Mountain, but he was a good referee. So there's quite a few, man, quite a few. And I'm not sure, just while we're on the subject of referees, I'm not sure how I feel about the chick in AEW that does all the faces and over-exaggerates and tries to steal the show. I'm not sure if they've toned her back a little bit, but that's kind of strange.
It is, because I think she's trying to do the element of like how Jerry would do, or Tommy Young, those guys that were very reactionary. But man, it's something else. And I think she's like Jericho's main ref. Like, she'll do all the Jericho matches and stuff. And it's I guess maybe it's just she's amping it up a little, But anyway, they're
obviously doing it. She's not being told not to. So evidently somebody something about it that they like. And like I said, It's different.
Yeah, it is definitely different. You know, they're putting their first referee in the WWE Hall of Fame this year, referee Tim White, who was actually Andre's handler after Arnold Skaaland passed away or retired. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Good for him. Well, that's pretty much it, you know, for today's Ask Wolfie D Anything. And again, this show with DK, Derrick King, very cool show. So, you know, take us out, Wolfie D.
I sure will, man. Once again, thanks everybody for listening. And we will talk to you again, or you will listen to us again next week. Not sure what we got going on next week, but we'll keep you posted, keep you updated. Thank you, Jimmy, across the street. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Live and in color with Wolfie D.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all. And all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join me, Gene Jackson, for the Jackson Interaction Podcast, where I'll be doing one-on-one interviews with people from the world of professional wrestling, as well as stand-up comedy. You can get them anywhere podcasts are available in both video and audio form, but you can find them all at genejacksonpod.com.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
If you're a fan of rock music, I'd really appreciate it if you took a moment to check out my podcast. It's called the Decibel Geek Podcast. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. We talk about Kiss. We talk about Ozzy. We talk about Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and Metallica. We talk about all the legends from the 60s and on, up to brand new bands that you should be hearing about today that you're not going to hear on the radio. It's Decibel Geek. Wherever you find your podcasts, you'll find us there. If you love rock and roll, I can almost guarantee you're going to love my show.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at Warren Wolf 13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for you, don't.
He got a cap for you, don't.
I got a cap for you, don't.
He got a cap for you, don't.
You don't.
He got a cap for you, don't.
You don't.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color, plum rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, unlike any other. Back in the day, I was N-O-D, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are, without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip-hop. Been doing it like this since 92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.